Donk is donking good in CS2 and donking on everybody. Everyone has their eyes and attention on Donk right now, who is shocking the whole world with his amazing performances, which he broke the Katowice record with a 1.7 rating. That was his first tier 1 tournament and he delivered on the stage too. Now, being only 17, he's doing things that's never been done before, and he has such a bright future ahead of himself. Everyone is currently studying Donk demos, seeing how he plays, so I did myself to analyze what his opponents have tried game planning and countering Donk. The first thing that teams look for when watching a player is their tendencies. What do they like to do, what positions the angles do like to hold from, and so on. And I noticed that Donk likes to wide swing top stairs when it's not smoked off. How did FaZe try to counter this play from Donk? They would have somebody towards the back of ramp here to try to hold that position. Unfortunately for Brokey, he got caught with that downtime of the op after that first shot and repeak. A couple rounds later, we see that FaZe come out towards A, and you see Robs is already holding for that position, and he punishes Donk for trying that same peek. Another tendency is that Donk will rotate very fast. After getting this first frag onto middle, FaZe will execute A and Donk instantly rotates up connector and wide swings peeking ramp, getting the 2k. FaZe knows this tendency and they try to fake out Donk with an A execute, and they try to split B off the fact that no one will be watching mid, which works initially as you see Donk get pulled away from mid. He swings and peeks ramp and he does not see anyone, and off this information he knows it's a fake, so he disrespects the top con smoke, goes through it into connector, shutting down FaZe's B split. Donk is the outside player on Nuke. In this round, FaZe apply pressure towards ramp, and you see Rain is towards T-Red, catches Donk at the perfect timing as he's trying to rotate. Na'Vi also knows this tendency, so they try to fake out Donk, the mid player, with this fake A rush. Bit throws the fast donut smoke, Imma smoke CT from yard, and they sacrifice Alexi B. Na'Vi know Donk will take the bait and rotate off mid to go help out towards A, so that mid would be open for them to go out. His A teammate communicates that it's an A rush, so he instantly rotates to try to help out towards A, but then his teammate said it's a fake after taking down Alexi B. Him and Zontex disrespect Na'Vi's donut smoke and push through it to contest mid. Had Na'Vi been out mid sooner, they could have punished the two Spirit players for doing so. If we don't apply mid pressure early on at the start of the round and Donk comes out mid, you're going to see one of the plays that he likes to do is to jump on top of these boxes to peek towards the heaven side down B. So one play you could do is you can Molotov off the box to prevent him from going up and delaying him, smoke off the heaven side, which we do here, or you can apply heavy mid pressure early on with nades, which you see forces Donk towards the mid tunnel, or you could actually come out fast mid with those nades and you see that he's not going to be able to go towards the heaven side early on. The one playstyle that gives Spirit a run for their money is Virtus.pro's, who, as you guys know, is very default heavy and it's very methodical, meticulous. Every step and move is calculated. VP work the whole map for control and make sure the CTs aren't pushing them. James has talked about it in the past that he plays the numbers game, no risk, no hero plays, every timing, utility, and rotations are calculated. When VP met Spirit in the Bet Boom finals of the Best of 5, they went up 2-0 and gave Spirit a run for their money before Spirit reverse swept. Granted, it was the Art Frost lineup and no Shiro, VP were able to hold Donk to some of his lowest ratings in CS2 in those first two maps, a 0.97 on Overpass and a 1 on Ancient, compared to what he did at Katowice, murdering FaZe in the Best of 5 finals with an absurd 1.93. Now, what were VP able to do to hold Donk to such a low rating in these first two maps? Donk was forced to play very passive towards A, always jump spotting. He hardly had any aggressive plays and positioning, and that's due to VP's playstyle. Spirit know VP plays super slow and calculate for the pushes. Team Spirit would rather have Donk towards A site and wait VP to come to the site rather than forcing Donk to have free roam and aggressive positioning, because VP are very good with their utility to take map control. James' game plan in this matchup was attacking this B site early on and voiding Donk towards A. And in this round, VP applied pressure onto A so Donk doesn't rotate, as well as pulling rotations to A, making it easier to attack B, which is going to come down to a 2v2 post plant, and VP are going to take this round. With VP's heavy focus on B, Spirit moved Donk to B mid-round, hoping that he could fortify their defenses, and this happened twice in this match, but James calls the perfect tactic and his team goes A while having one player apply pressure towards B with nades to fake the execute to hold and draw rotations, making it easier to execute onto A. This concept of moving Donk to other sites applies to other maps too. Teams will try to avoid him, but Spirit's one solution to this is to stick him into different positions at times to punish these teams. We know Donk is the con player on Mirage, but sometimes Spirit will have him playing Dark randomly on A. And this was the perfect round to have Donk in this position, and he pops off with a nice 3k, shutting down Mongols' A-split. You are going to be seeing this a lot in the future matches where teams will avoid the site that Donk is on. For example, on Overpass, Spirit played Donk and Shiro on A site CT side, two of the best players in the world. Now tell me guys, where do you want to go? To A site with Shiro and Donk holding, or B with Chopper, Matches, and Zontix? And this is no offense to the other three. Another way to try to counter Donk is with an op. With Donk entering on some rounds, if you have the op posted on his entry route, you have a good chance to win the duel, as I showed James doing here on both Overpass and Ancient. That is definitely one of the flaws when it comes to being an entry fragger or entering, especially if you are your team's best player. You can easily be taken out and don't have any impact on the rest of the round. In those last 3 op clips, I showed Donk playing on the T side entering. Here we have Na'Vi on the T side, and they're going to use Wonderful with an op to entry in against Donk. So will it be an opera that will stop Donk? We know how impactful and how hard operas can carry games. Zaiwu, Monasi have been torching it up despite operas not looking so good in CS2. Using utility is a great counter to your enemies, and I want to showcase this round here where Alexei B has these really good flashes for mid for Imma to rush out elbow to take fast control. Now Donk gets completely blind and stood no chance, and you could be the best player in the world, but if you can't see anything, then it doesn't matter how good you are. These flashes take out Donk's vision and Imma gets the free frag. Another good round to show is when Team Spirit run a set piece or execute, Donk is entering in, and when you are entering, you'll be faced with so much unpredictability that from the CTs, there's a high chance that you're going to go down, as we see Spirit rush B and VP stomp this execute with good nade usage. Besides flashes, we're going to see here that Rain throws an HE nade at connector early on, which Donk likes to play around, and this nade takes away half his HP. With him being at lower HP, this is going to make it easier to take him down. Mid round, you see Na'Vi come out mid, and look how good their utility usage is. Na'Vi go 1 for 1, and you'll take that any day of the week if that includes Donk. If you want to aim duel Donk, you can definitely win this fight with the help of utility. In this round, Donk was hiding behind the pillar, avoiding the flashes, which he's going to win the duel against Imma. Now, in a later round, the nades were on point from Na'Vi, blinding him, Molotoving, forcing him out of position, where he was out in the open and vulnerable to multiple angles, which leads to his death. The next plan of attack is to go in numbers, meaning use multiple players so you can effectively trade out. Yes, Donk has a really high multi-frag rate, but your odds of trading should still be in your favor. You do not want to give Donk the one-on-ones because most likely or not, he's going to win them. Back in CSGO, pros get asked all the time who has the best aim, and Rain's name would always be in this conversation. Well, Donk went 13-3 against Rain in this best of 3. There's the quote that says power in numbers. You see that Donk loses the first duel here, but Floppy would have been there to trade if need be. This is going to sound cliche, but your aim's gotta be on point when it comes to playing Spirit and Donk. You have to be at 110% because his reaction time and quick flicks are so fast that there's no room for errors. Now it's time to sit back and wait to see what team will be able to shut down Donk and analyze what they did to do so. Donk will need to evolve his game at some point to be unpredictable and from being red, but at this point in time, his aim is so good that it might not even matter.